So how do we factorize a cubic polynomial? So questions in the textbook that ask you to factorize, chances are you can substitute a value of x. That's going to make this whole thing 0. Okay, and then we can find out at least one linear factor of this, and use that to factorize the remaining. So we have to guess a value of x which makes p of x equals 0. Okay, so how do we guess? There's a trick to guess that. We don't just guess randomly. You want to guess factors of 6, okay, of this constant divided by the factors of the constant in front of your cubic, okay, which is in this case will be 1. So factors of 6 can be 1 or 2 or 3 or 6, or negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 6. And usually we guess from the lowest. Okay, just say 1. Factors of 1 can be 1 or negative 1, right? We're just going to guess 1 to start with. So let's try to guess x equals 1 to see if that equals 0. Okay, I'll tell you what that means when it equals 0. So we substitute x equals 1, and then we have 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 is 6. That gives the 1 cubed is 1, minus 2 times 1 squared is 2, minus 5 plus 6, and this gives us 1 plus 6, 7, minus 2 minus 6 gives us 0. Okay, what that means is there is a factor of x minus 1. Okay, and then that leaves us with ax squared plus bx plus c. Because this is a x factor with a power of 1, right? Times x power of 2 equals x cubed. When x equals 1, the whole thing is 0. When x equals 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. And 0 times multiply anything is 0. So it makes sense. We know there's a factor of x minus 1. We just have to solve for a, b, and c. Now there are two methods. Okay, the first method is using what is called a long division. So I'm going to divide this by that to get that. So write this inside and put this in outside. Alright, how do we do long division? Now first we have to think about, focus on the first one. So what values multiply x give us x cubed? Well, we know it's going to be x squared. I'm going to put x squared, line up with the x squared. X squared times x is going to be x cubed. Negative 1 times that, negative x squared. Alright, then we're going to minus. This minus that gives us 0. This minus that gives us negative x squared. Alright. Then we move down whichever is on the next one, minus 5x. Again, think of a thing that when you multiply x, gives you negative x squared. And that thing is going to be negative x. X times negative x will be negative x squared. Then negative 1 times x, sorry, negative 1 times negative x is going to give us positive x. Again, this minus this is going to be 0. Negative 5x minus x is negative 6x. Now bring this down. Last thing to think about, what number multiply x gives us negative 6x. And that number is going to be negative 6. Okay, so that times that, negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. That gives us 0. So what that means is this now become x minus 1, x squared minus x minus 6. Now can we factorize that? Yes, we can. Now the method I'm going to show you to factorize quadratic might be different what you learned in school, but this is how the think about two things that multiply give you x squared, x times x. Think about two numbers that give you -6, and this is by trial and error. Okay, you want to think of two numbers that give multiply give you -6, and when they cross multiply and add the sum of that, it's going to give you -x. So let's try that. -3 times x is going to give us -3x. 2 times x become +2x. When we add those two, become -x, which is what we try to aim inside there. Now when we achieve that, that means that thing there become x minus 3 times x plus 2. Okay? So let's summarize, put everything together. That become x minus 1, and then times that x minus 3, x plus 2. Now another way, if you don't know how to do long division, here's another way. So that way is called just expanding the brackets. Okay, so if you expand these brackets, let's just put it in. So we don't know what's a, b, and c. If we expand the brackets, we have x times ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx. We have -1 multiply that, it's going to give us minus ax squared minus bx minus c. Then we're going to collect the like terms together. Okay, like terms. So we have 1 ax cubed. We have two terms that give us x squared. We have bx squared and minus ax squared, which is b minus a x squared. Okay. If we look at the next term, we have the x term, which is cx and minus bx. So in total, we have c minus b of x. The last term, we have the constant term, which is minus c. Now, when we've done that, we're going to compare left and right. Okay? So let's compare the x cubed term. Left must be equal to right. If we compare the cubic term, we have 1 must be equal to a. Okay? Then next, we compare the x squared term. We have -2 equals b minus a. Then we have x term. We have -5 equals c minus b. And last term, we have the constant term, which I use k to stand for that. x6 equals c. Okay? From here, we know that c must be 6. Alright? Then, depending to you, you can either use this one or this one. We can work out what is b, right? We know a is 1, -2 equals b minus 1. b must be equal to -2 plus 1, which is -1. Okay, so we have a, we have b, we have c. We can substitute into there, which gives us the same thing. X minus 1. A is going to be 1. So 1x squared. B is going to be -1. So minus x. C is going to be -6. Okay? And this part here is exactly just that. And then you just finish it off like that. So, hope this helped.